What's up? Oh, I'm so excited to talk about this.
We've been waiting some time because life has kicked us in the butt and prevented us from recording this.
Yes. Dawn and I meant to record this episode, gosh, quite a while ago.
Yeah, like 2 weeks. No, a week
Yeah,
and a half, something like that. Yeah.
something like that. Unfortunately, I got struck with what I didn't think was COVID because it tested negative, but I'm pretty sure it is because I still have it and it's all the same symptoms that people with COVID are getting, and it's taking forever to
Yeah.
get its butt out of here.
Yeah, I
So
had that. I had that in January. We were calling it Novid.
Novid. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so I content has just been it's been so frustrating because I haven't put out any content in the past couple like 2 to 3
Yeah.
weeks, because I've just been, feeling so crappy, but at
Yeah.
least I can kind of somewhat talk
Yes, that's
finally.
good. But if you
I
just,
I sent a I sent a
if you,
voice note that Dawn heard when I was at the height of it because I had gone a whole day without hearing my own voice, and I heard myself talk once my husband got home from work, and I was like, "I gotta send this to somebody." It's
it
so
it was
ridiculous, I
giving
know.
when Phoebe had the cold in Friends and she was like started singing. That was exactly what it made me think of.
Yes, yes, for sure. Um, so we are here today to talk about, to do some to talk about the recent promo we've gotten for the Book of Carol. Which I'm just I smile every time I say the Book of Carol. I just
Yeah,
like,
we're excited. I'm wearing my T-shirt, Love from Paris.
very
So, because
nice.
Carol can send a nice postcard home when she gets there.
Yes. And I've got my Cherokee rose necklace on.
Yeah.
Um, but, yeah, I remember we were watching the New York Comic Con panel together, and I remember my face when they said the Book of Carol.
Yeah.
I was just like, "What? What?" I was so excited.
It was amazing. And to see, I mean, I had a feeling, that they were going to announce because we knew that Melissa had been filming. We knew, that she was going to be in the second series and I season, I should say. And I thought they were going to announce her, but I didn't expect to see Melissa, and that was like, what?
Yeah.
That was huge to see her promoting it herself was amazing.
Super exciting. And, apparently she's gonna be the main character of
Yeah,
season 2,
looks
which
like
is
she is the lead, so that's very exciting. When we had sort of given up hope in 2022, you know, everything seemed to have fallen apart, and we would never see Carol again. Although let's be well, hold my hand up. They did say you will see it again. You will see it again. Um, so they were telling the truth.
yeah.
But I never thought this was we were going to have this. We were going to have the Carol and Daryl spin-off that they'd always envisioned, that Norman and Melissa had always talked about.
Mhm.
And we're getting it. So it's very
We
exciting.
are. We are. And there is I'm so glad because there are 2 things ever since they first announced the Daryl and Carol spinoff, like, way back in
Hmm.
2020 or whenever it was.
Yeah.
um, there are 2 things that were immediately on my wish list. We've already gotten one of them, which is Carol driving the bike.
Yes.
Because we know Melissa McBride has her motorcycle license.
Yeah.
Um, and the other thing, which I don't think we'll get, is give the woman a new last name, please.
Yes.
Um, I hate that horrible person's last name is still attached to her,
Yeah.
and I like to refer to her as Queen Carol Sutton Dixon Banana Hammock.
Fitting. It works. It works. Where did Sutton come from? Was it a fan fiction thing or?
No,
I,
Sutton was Ezekiel's last name was revealed to be Sutton,
ah.
and
Oh,
he
that's
was in the
terrible that I
hospital.
didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, when he was
Yeah.
in the hospital and she
Totally.
was,
Yeah.
like, pulling files, she was going through the files and everything, she pulled his out,
Yeah.
and it said Sutton. Um,
Oh, well. Yeah.
yeah.
She can be hyphenated.
Yes. Yes, it should be it's Queen Carol Sutton Dixon Banana Hammock.
Yeah, that'll work.
Um, Dixon, because even if you don't ship Carol and Daryl, come
Yeah.
on, they're life
Family.
partners.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Um,
That's yeah.
and Banana Hammock because, of Princess Consuela Banana Hammock from
But I
Friends,
have yes, exactly.
which I often joke that is Banana's full name. Banana, my husky.
Oh
Um,
dear.
but, yeah, I really want them to give her a last name.
Yeah,
Um,
she deserves
but
it.
let's, um let's talk about the news first, shall we?
Let's that's my news intro. Bulletin, news bulletin, incoming news bulletin.
Yes. I'm actually gonna try to blow this up a little bit because it's coming up a little on the small side, and I apologize to anybody who is not, who is listening to this,
Yeah.
via watching this. I am putting it on the audio podcast just because I think it'll have some good info that people might be interested in.
Mhm.
Um, but, yeah, this is gonna be a very visual episode, so
Yeah.
you'll want to, you'll wanna see this.
If you don't normally watch, watch.
Yes. And you can find us at youtube.com/at cyborg queen media.
But
Um,
we'll describe everything as best we can for those who are
exactly.
just
Yes.
listening. Yeah.
So, um, Tribeca Film Festival put this out. The 2024 Tribeca Film Festival is happening June 5th to the 16th, and, they are going to be premiering, Book of Carol, Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon Book of Carol. It says horror action drama. The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol picks up where season one of the series left off, following fan favorite characters Daryl Dixon, played by Norman Reedus, and Carol Pelletier, played by Melissa McBride. They both confront old demons while she fights to find her friend, and he struggles with his decision to stay in France, causing tension at the nest. After the screening, a conversation with executive producers and stars Norman Reedus, Melissa McBride, showrunner David Zabel, and additional cast and creatives. And there's, just a couple of there's a
And they are
photo.
also executive producers.
Yes,
Some of the other press releases mentioned that. Executive
yes,
producers and stars.
yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride are singled out here because they are the leads and they're also executive producers.
Yeah.
Um, so super excited about that. So,
Yes.
what do you think? So, okay, first of all, um, they are going. It mentions that they both confront old demons.
Yeah.
What are
Now
your thoughts on that?
this is interesting because way back, as you said, when the original announcement was made in 2020, um, someone released the synopsis then of what it was going to be at that point. That was when Angela Kang was still involved, and the original concept. And that was the phrase that was in that synopsis, was that they would confront old demons. So I think that is the core of what this show is going to be about now that Carol's back, is these things that they have never talked about, and not just with each other but just in general, these issues that they have that keep coming back and back and back. Daryl's guilt over people that have died, and he feels responsible for everybody, which we know that's his big issue. And Carol's big issue is guilt in terms of all the people she's killed, and that she feels she's a monster and unlovable and shouldn't be around people. So I think those two issues are what is at the core of it, and hopefully they'll talk about it with each other, but also deal with it in their own way, go through stuff that's hopefully going to heal them from these issues. Um, it's something that I think that, in the first season of Daryl Dixon, they're talking a lot about Daryl finding, keeping hope alive, and the mother superior says, you God's looking out for you, kind of thing, and you should, if you don't believe in God, look around at the all the little signs, and obviously he's getting signs because things are happening in France that show his, I don't know what you want to call it, destiny, God, whatever, is helping him. Fate is helping him, and so I hope that that's what sort of continues, and he starts to realize, look, I'm a good person. These deaths and these things that have happened, Rick's death, Glenn's death, all these things are not his fault, and that he's a good person, and he'll start to believe that, and hopefully the same with Carol, that she will realize that she's a good person, and she's loved, and um I don't know, I can't see quite how that's going to, like, what plot was going to help her that way. As I can say, I can see it with Daryl. I'm not sure about Carol, but I'm delighted to be surprised and see what happens. Um, I just hope they're dealing with their demons together. Is what we as shippers um want them to do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I also wonder if there is going to be, if part of those old demons, um and actually this is kind of what I'm suspecting. I think that there is going to be some sort of some sort of guilt on both of their parts about
Hmm.
of like the strain in their relationship.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Um and what makes me think of that about that, especially on Daryl's part, is was it episode 5? It's episode 5 of first season.
Uh huh.
Um, there were a lot of Carol callbacks in there, and he was trying to get home, and, um, he just he seemed to really not only be in a hurry to get home, but to get home to her in particular.
Yeah. Yes.
Um, he had that conversation with that kid that they killed, and he was just like he said he told Daryl that he was planning on heading out, heading out west with his girlfriend, and
Yeah.
he didn't wanna go back empty-handed, and he had to get all this done first, and he's like, "Just go home to your girl, man."
Yeah.
Um, and it was right after that that he went in to try to contact Carol,
Yeah.
you know?
And promised her he was coming home in a
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
Mhm.
I think we might see some of that too. Um,
I hope so, because obviously that was something that was started in 10C, and they kept promising a resolution that they would talk it through, and they never did. And
no, they
that
didn't.
may be because of how things changed with the spin-off and COVID and all this kind of stuff. But it's something that I think shippers and non-shippers, people who just like their relationship as friends, want to see happen. They want that to be resolved, and for them to have that conversation.
Yeah,
Um, I
yeah,
think it's something Norman Reedus said. I can't remember when he said it, but he was talking about that Daryl and Carol. He's like, oh, they know each other so well, they don't need to have these conversations. And Melissa McBride interrupted him, and I was like, yeah, but they do. They do need to have these conversations. They need to talk. So I
yeah,
think they want it. Well, Melissa certainly wants that these conversations to happen. Um, and there was a quote from Denai Guerrera about the ones who live, and I wish I'd saved it because I can't find it now. Where she was talking about like the emotional stuff that they get into in the ones who live, that she feels that was missing from the Walking Dead main show. And I was like, hallelujah, yes, agreed. And it feels like this is their opportunity the ones who live was Rick and Michonne's opportunity to talk through everything, and this is going to be Carol and Daryl's opportunity to um, discuss the stuff that the main show didn't give them space to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Can we get to Guerrero as showrunner, please?
Yes, please, that would be fantastic. She's so talented and just has such a deep understanding of, she we talked about on this podcast, you said that you didn't want to speculate about her private life, and but that she had clearly had a deep understanding of trauma and PTSD. And she said, I read an interview subsequently where she said she did a lot of research into it. And you're like, yes, please.
Yes.
She knows how to write. She puts the effort in. She does the emotional work that these characters are going through. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry, deny you're a fan cast. That's turning
Yeah.
into. But yes, please. We want that in this show. We want that. We want that people, whoever is writing, to understand the depth of what these characters have gone through, to understand their history, to understand their self issues, and hopefully resolve that whatever fight it was about. We don't really know what it was about, do we? In 10T, it was never really clarified.
No, it wasn't. It was just I don't know. Gerald was just kind of a dick to Carol all of season 11 with no explanation for it.
Yeah, except for when he asked her out on a date, that was nice.
Yeah. Um,
Um, about the synopsis, I also want to mention that the phrase that they use about Daryl deciding to stay, and I know a
yes.
lot of people who've read that are a bit like, oh well, that's feeling really upset about that Daryl's deciding to stay. Not just Shepherds, but just Daryl fans who want him to go back and reunite with Rick and everybody else. Um, but I think it's just a phrase they've used, but I don't think that means that Daryl's like, I'm going to stay in France. France is for me. I don't think that's what happened. When the first season finished, Daryl wants to go home. He's on literally feet away from the boat to go home, and he wants to. And when Laurent turns up at the beach, he's annoyed. And Norman who just said that, he's like, oh, there's that kid, and he can't let the kid die surrounded by walkers. He can't just leave him. He's going to
Yeah.
have to save him, and that's Daryl. Um, and him going back to the nest, it took a huge amount for them to arrange a boat. They said they had to wait a week in the first place. To arrange another boat will be difficult. So I don't think it's him saying, I want to stay here forever. I think it's him saying, resigned to his fate at this moment is, well, I'm here now. I guess I better do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's funny because the way that they put it, his decision his he's struggling with his decision to stay in France, which is causing tension at the nest.
Yeah.
Meaning I think his decision is I think what they mean by that is his decision to stay in France is his decision is that he wants to go home. He doesn't wanna
Yes.
stay in France.
Yes. That's the tension it's causing, because we know Isabel and your favorite.
Oh god. Don't I didn't even need to see his face.
He wants Daryl to stay as well.
Yes,
Laurent wants Daryl
listen.
to stay. Listen, yes, sorry, it doesn't say his name. Um, we don't need to say his name. We just know. Um, they all want Daryl to stay. So why, if he was deciding to stay, would that cause tension? It wouldn't. They'd be delighted. So the fact that there's tension at the nest means they're annoyed that he still wants to leave, even though he's staying. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that's the key point of it. He's not he's staying, but it's not in a I never want to go home kind of way. It's a well, what can I do? I'm stuck
Yeah.
here, and presumably he's going to be very Daryl grumpy about it, which I'm
You
quite
know,
looking forward to.
I have to say, the actor had a good sense of humor about it. I mentioned my distrust for Losang, and he liked my tweet, and he was like, "Distrust away. Thanks for watching." It's funny because it was just like it was I forget the character's name, the Muslim character who died.
Oh, that died. Oh, yeah, it was. Oh no, I can't remember either. Isn't that
Yeah,
awful?
I'm forgetting his name. Really
It's like
likable character.
Yeah, like Merlin or something like that. It was the name of something else.
Yeah. But he
Oh,
I I I had my hackles up about Losang ever since he first mentioned him in episode 5 because he mentioned that Janae controls the ports, but
yes.
Losang is somehow able to arrange for a boat.
So who is he? Yeah, who's he friendly with? The fact that he can get one of Jeanette's boats. Mm,
Exactly. That's why I've got my hackles up about Losang and the
yes.
fact that he was so pushy about Daryl staying in France.
He was bizarrely pushy about it. Like,
Yeah,
hey, this is where you're meant to be. Mm.
yeah. But, now I know some shippers were upset about the mention of Carol finding her friend in France. Guys, that's what they are. They're friends.
Yeah, there's no other way to refer to them. Even if, right, this season is them declaring their love for each other in the second episode. That's a spoiler. That hasn't happened. We
Yeah,
have not seen on screen anything that says irrefutably that they are romantically in love with each other. Now that sounds like heresy from a shipper. There have been lots of in you know in the inferences, thank you, and clues and hints, and certainly all things like Carol's dreams indicates that,
yeah.
but they have always shied away from confirming anything. If they confirm something in the synopsis, that yeah, that they've been keeping hidden for 12 years.
Right.
Oh, by the way, she's in love with him, and so she's going to find her. And even then, what do you refer to him as? Her her person she's in love with? Her what? What other
Yeah,
word is there that they can use? He's not her partner. He's not her husband. He's not. It would be cool if she referred to him as her husband, just as like, oh, he's my husband, and
yeah,
But
yeah.
there's nothing else they can describe him as other than family, friend. Look, they're not calling him her son or her brother. So
Right.
that's that's a different kettle of fish.
Yes. Yes. I mean, if you remember, Maggie actually at one point referred to Glenn as a friend
Yeah,
to Herschel, after they were already sleeping together.
yeah. He's just a friend.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of that gift that Sarah Christ often posts on X on Twitter, which is a headboard banging against the wall that just says friends.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh.
but
But,
but it,
we're gonna eventually do an episode about that.
yes,
That's a whole conversation for another
yeah,
episode.
that's something else completely. But yeah,
Um,
I think what is we'll get to this when we talk about it. But there's a much more interesting phrase about how she describes Daryl in the teaser, which we will talk about.
yeah, oh, good. I'm excited to hear what you have to say. Um, all right, so let's go ahead and look at some of these screenshots. And now I have to apologize. They're not on the greatest quality. The program that I use just I don't know, it used to put out really good quality, but it just hasn't been lately. So, this is the sneak peek that aired after, the Ones Who Live finale.
Yeah,
Um, so we have a landscape shot here. And then this
yeah,
guy looking out the window, he's clearly giving hand signals.
yep.
Um, I have no idea who that could be.
No, I think he's gang member number two.
Yeah. But, but Daryl is there.
Yes.
So I don't know if he's signaling Daryl or
I think so.
Okay.
I think there's a group of them waiting for a convoy, which Jeanette is part of.
Mhm.
And the guy at the window says something like, "Oh no," the other guy says, the guy that who we see next says it didn't go off.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously there was supposed to be a bomb or some kind of trap. Um, what do they call those things that you throw across the road and it makes all your tires burst? One of those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what you're
something of
talking
that
about.
ilk. Um,
Yes.
and it fails.
So we
Yeah,
see 2 vehicles approaching here, and then there's a 3rd one
yeah.
behind, so there's a whole caravan there.
Now
Um,
that if the Jeanette is in the yellow Jeep, I think. There, that
okay,
one. I
yeah,
think Jeanette is at the front because we see later. There's it's two guys that's in the Jeep at the back.
gotcha. Look how beautiful she looks.
Oh, she's stunning, isn't she?
She's so gorgeous. Um, so I can't tell if that's someone we've seen or not.
Don't think so. I think it's just again, it's just a soldier. You know,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
just
he's got
he's just
the
the
face
driver.
tattoo. Yeah, but yeah, he's got the face tattoo.
Yes.
Um, and, is that the
Yeah.
mine that was supposed to go
That's yeah.
off?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And obviously
and
does not.
apparently it didn't, yeah. Um, so we see, more
All three vehicles go over it and nothing happens.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're all just, nothing is happening.
Oh,
Um,
there's the other guy.
yeah. So then it looks like they're ready to ambush.
Yep.
He's saying that it didn't go off. Um, and Daryl's peeking out here, and then he starts rushing and shooting, and they're all yelling at him.
Yep. He
Um,
says the other guy who's quite handsome, I have to say.
yes,
The other rebellion guy says we should abort, and of course Daryl, being Daryl, ignores that and
yeah.
just walks straight into in front of the vehicles and starts shooting through the windscreen. Is that Isabel behind him? There's three people behind him. I'm on my phone, so I can't see it very clearly. I'm
Oh,
gonna
the
have
one
to.
in the middle, you mean? Maybe.
Yeah, yeah, the one in the middle. Is that Isabel? I can't tell.
Um,
Um,
I don't know. There's no other
is it? No,
photos of her. I don't think.
no. Um, I'm curious. I know some people thought that Isabel is in the truck, but it's not. I've lightened up the images of the truck. Um, so I wish
Oh,
I'd.
you did. You have those?
Yes, I don't have them right now, but I will give them to you.
Okay, awesome. Um,
Yes,
yeah, if you want to send those to me, and I
I
can
will
bring them
do
up.
that. Yes.
So yeah, there's just, Daryl keeps charging. Um, and there's Janae screaming, reacting, but clearly the driver gets hit.
Yep. I saw a bullet go through his forehead,
Yeah,
but Jeanette. Now, interesting. I wonder if Daryl is deliberately not shooting Jeanette. Maybe.
maybe that
Mm,
that would be an interesting possibility.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so he sends the God, why does that scar still look like that?
I was just thinking the same thing. It looks like Pennywise the clown that's that dramatic there.
Seriously, like what the hell? Does he It's so weird. I can't explain it.
It's
Um,
got worse over time. He needs to see a doctor, a
yeah,
specialist about
for sure. So this guy gets out of one of the vehicles and he's ready to start shooting.
that.
Where are they, by the way? Do you
It No, I don't know. To me, it looks like maybe a farm, with lots of outbuildings kind of thing, or
Yeah.
But well, no, because that's a tall building, isn't it? It's not just like I don't know, but it is possibly like is that a factory though? Because those windows look like factory windows that the guy's looking out of, and
Yeah, that
maybe
could be.
that's all the sort of outbuildings. But it's like one big building and lots of smaller buildings around it. I think there's like a well and something else as well. So it looks very rural France. It's possible that they are coming to some kind of depot that either Jeanette or the rebellion people are using, where they're storing stuff, either arms or supplies or whatever.
Yeah.
Be something
Yeah,
like that.
that's interesting. Well, they've got, the guy in the window is clearly their sniper.
Yeah,
He's got his rifle loaded, and we've got a dude shooting back at him.
yeah.
So oh,
Oh, there
so
we go.
there's a full-on firefight going on here.
Yes. Daryl's
Um,
got rid of his handgun and now he's onto a rifle.
yes. And,
And
I'm not sure. Oh, wait. So it's a there's a gas so this was a gas station.
that's a
But
gas station, yeah. So maybe
but
that's
why is that's so weird. Why is there this big building next to the
big
gas
building, yeah. Yeah, it was because it
station?
was at
That's
least when you that picture before the building was looked like three or four stories, and it had some
yeah.
kind of awning out the front. So maybe it was a no, it doesn't look like a hotel. I've no idea, not a clue.
Well, someone in the truck clearly got shot
Yes, because
because
they're
we see blood all over the windshield.
yeah. I think Daryl shoots him as
Yeah.
the driver is about to come out. Daryl shoots him, I think, and then Daryl's approaching the back of the truck while everybody else is still firefighting.
Yeah.
And
And then that guy
that
is
other
right next to him.
yeah, that other guy is flanking Daryl. Um, Now this is the thing I'm not sure of. And there was lots of speculation. As they approach the back of the truck, is this do they believe there's more of Jeanette's men in the truck, or do they believe it's their own people and this is a rescue mission? This seems to be the big like question that people who've online have been discussing this. Are they
Yeah.
but to me, if they've put mines down, then they were expecting to blow up all of the cars, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm not convinced it's a rescue mission. I think it might just be an ambush.
Yeah, that's a good guess. Yeah. Um, so obviously someone's getting shot there.
Yeah,
The
that's
other dude.
that guy goes for the other handsome dude, we'll just call him. Um, presses forward and he shoots both the people in the jeep that was at the back, and the jeep reverses back and crashes.
Yeah. Um, so why do we think that they were, like, yelling at Daryl like he shouldn't have.
I'm assuming just because he went in, you know, Leroy, Leroy,
Yeah.
damn you, Leroy style. Um, that's a reference, an old internet reference.
Yes.
He just
Yes. I'm aware.
for those of us who are old, uh, he just went in on his own, I think, and they didn't want him to. You know, he was like putting himself in. Gosh, it reminds me of another character who just goes in recklessly and puts himself in danger. Hmm. Because they
Yeah.
know it needs to be done, so they just do it and without any care of their own safety.
Yep.
And that's what Daryl's doing.
Oh, man. So he's
Yeah,
coming around the back here. This bald guy gets taken out.
yep.
Um, ooh, that's a nice graphic shot there.
Just shows,
Um,
even in stills, the special effects are pretty damn good.
yeah. Um, so we've got them opening the back of the truck here, and
Yeah,
we've got some people in here, but not really
yeah.
sure who is back here.
When I lightened it up, I can tell you that the person on the left is an unknown ginger man or a red-headed man, balding.
Okay.
Don't know who that is. On the right is Faloo, and in
Oh,
front of him, I think, is Emil, but it's hard to tell. But it's a young man. Sorry, not in front of him, behind him. Is a young man, and I from the clothes he's wearing, I think it's Emil,
okay. Gotcha.
Sylvie's boyfriend. So it was clearly three members of the what are they called?
Oh,
Union of Hope.
gosh.
Yeah,
Union of
I
Hope.
was thinking, what's the proper name? Union of Hope. Um, so they've obviously been captive, um, and they've releasing them, but it's whether or not the Daryl and Co knew that Faloo and company were in there, or whether it was a surprise they were expecting to be more soldiers. That's a
Well,
big
thank
question.
goodness those mines didn't go off
Exactly.
because
So
Faloo
I
is
think there's
our favorite character,
yeah,
our favorite secondary character.
yes. When was it I can't remember was the official account that or was it Valhalla that posted which secondary character are you looking forward to seeing? And it was like Isabel, Laurent, Codron, or Jeanette. And there was a lot of replies saying, Faloo!
Yes.
We know
Yes,
what we
we
like.
love Faloo. This
I,
is a Faloo stan cast.
it is, yes. I think Daryl looked surprised there. So I think that he's like, what? So I think they were expecting it to be full of soldiers, and instead it's their own people. Well, not their
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, I
But,
think so. Yeah, that's probably a big shock. Like, thank God that mine did not go off.
yes, exactly.
So, back in the US, um,
Woohoo!
we've got what we're really excited about,
Yeah,
this motorcycle pulling up into the service station
yeah.
and our favorite lady getting out, um, and, uh, and walking up.
Oh,
So excited to see her.
oh, it's just amazing. And I love her. I love her costume. This for this show is fantastic.
Yes,
That jacket is everything. Yes.
yes. I love it. She immediately puts her hands up, um, and I accidentally ended our recording, so there might be some kind of weird pausing in there. Um,
Yeah.
not sure what happened there, but,
And in that break, I was able to look properly at the screen capped and on my tablet so that I wasn't squinting at my phone. It is not Isabel in the background; it's a guy with a hat and a
yes.
moustache. So I do apologise to Clement. It's
Yes,
just it was
Isabel does
very
not have a
small.
mustache.
No, it was very small and very far away, and I just saw someone slimmer and shorter.
Yeah, I mean, I it's you really can't tell with these. I mean, I was surprised when you said that that was Faloo in the truck because it totally looks like a
Yeah,
white person.
yeah. It really it's my tablet, which I have here, is fantastic in that when you zoom in, it doesn't lower the quality at all. So I can get a really good zoom in, and I can lighten it up, and I see a lot of things that I can't see, on even on my laptop or whatever. I don't know what the science behind it is, but but it's
Sure.
I lightened up things so I can see in trailers before. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome. Well, yeah, let's get back to our screenshots here.
yes.
So look at that smile. I love her smile there.
It's that
Just
smile she used in the kingdom, wasn't it, when she first came to the kingdom?
yes. Yeah, it's that's the smile when Carol's pretending to be someone completely the opposite of Carol.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's the guy that we saw in season
Yep.
1. He I can't remember, was he the one who actually approached Daryl on the bike?
He was, yep, he was the one, he was
Okay.
in the car, yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. And she he asks her if she's mixed lady and
Yeah. She just I love her non-committal.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
if that's what works, sure. She says
Yeah,
she needs
don't
the
know
bike
Americans.
fixed. So yeah. So she's looking for the guy who gave her the bike. She said she has her friend has the bike, and that's why he says, "Oh, you're mixed lady." And then she says, "Well, if
Yeah.
you know,
Nick is
what about the
currently in
guy?"
her trunk.
Yes, Poor Mick. Someplace on a road in Maine, never to be
Yeah.
seen again.
Um, so she wait, it looks like these are out of order.
They are out of order, yeah, because
Oh,
she walks
shoot.
up to him first.
What is
Yeah,
going on here? Well, a lot of these are just, a lot of
a
these are
teaser.
just
Yeah,
extras,
yeah.
but,
She says, what about the guy who was here before? And this guy says, Dixon, and one of the other guys like, yeah, what an asshole. And it made me think of when Negan says to Daryl, "Your girlfriend let me out of the jail," and
yes.
Daryl makes a face like, "Oh shit, yeah, that was her." So, and so I was thinking this when he says, "Dixon, what an asshole," she's like, "Yeah, that's the right guy. That's my Daryl."
Yep. She's like, "Asshole or not, can he fix the whatever it was?"
Yeah,
Um, but, she's just playing dumb at this point. But, so I love this, like, her looking out of the corner of her eye here as she reaches for the crossbow.
yeah,
Um, and, she quickly pulls the crossbow on them. Where did I put that photo?
go back, go back three.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so she quickly pulls the crossbow on them, and, she wants to know what happened to Daryl.
Yep.
Um,
Here's my friend.
yes, yes. Where's her friend? Um, and, so he quickly finds out that you don't this dude quickly finds out you don't mess with Carol.
Yeah,
Um, but, I just love seeing her with the crossbow.
yeah. And of
Um
course, it brings back memories of Terminus, of No Sanctuary, when she found Daryl's crossbow in the room of things they'd taken from their victim, and she brings it and returns it to him. So I'm assuming that's what she's going to do again, because that's what Carol does.
Yeah, it's so cool that they kinda have each other's weapons. Like, I mean, he doesn't have her knife exactly,
No,
but he's got one that looks exactly like it,
yeah,
that he's been using, and
mhm,
she's got his crossbow. I just think that's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah, it is, it is. It's
Um
it's like the whole thing with Leah's knife, which I won't get started on a rant,
oh
but
god, no. Oh, that's a
but
whole nother episode too.
yeah. But this in that episode, when Carol has the knife and Daryl doesn't, and he needs it, and they said this is about the fact that they are um two parts of one person, basically, and then they without each other they don't work very well. And this is a similar thing, there's two parts of the one person. She's got the bike and the crossbow, um, because she's as much Daryl as Daryl is, kind of thing, which I
Yeah,
like.
yeah, for sure. Um, so yeah, that's Carol's side of it.
Yeah,
Um, and, yeah, this was totally out of order because it started with Daryl's.
yeah,
But actually, no, I meant to do that. That's right, because there was so much of that covered in the teaser
yeah.
that it just made sense to do it that way. Um, so we open up with it looks like, Daryl and Isabel are at the nest. Or they're
Yeah,
wait, no. Are they looking at the nest? Is that the
they're
nest they're
looking
looking
at
at?
the nest. Yeah, I wonder if this is them bringing Laurent back, but he's not there. I don't know, so I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah. It's yeah, I was wondering that too. I have a feeling it might be, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But,
and he's just not in the shot, kind of thing.
yeah. Um, but, we've got, the voiceover here says we hear what we both think is Isabel, right?
Yes,
Saying,
absolutely. I would put my life on the line that it is Isabel.
yeah, yeah, I think so too. Saying, "Tell me a story."
Yeah.
Um, what do you think that do you have any ideas as to what that hints
I
toward?
Now there's lots of interesting things about this. Remember, this is called the Book of Carol. It's a book, and she says, "Tell me a story." So, I think there is a connection there. I'm not entirely sure what it is. And it also connects back to that first episode, or was it the second episode? When Daryl is telling Isabel, they're sitting by the fire, now it's the first episode, telling her where he's come from, and he says the same kind of thing. I went looking for something, and all I found was trouble, and that's what he was saying on his dictaphone as well, which I think ended up with Janae. I think he still has it. So I think there's this connection, this line going through, that this is a story, and this is Daryl's part of the story, and we're going to get Carol's part of the story. Um, I suspect that uh, Isabel is seeing this when she is on her way out. I think this might be and that I'm not saying that as a spoiler. This is, I'm speculating that something has happened to her. Like with Carl, when he wrote his letters, and after he was bitten, that kind of time when you speak to people about, this is. And I think basically what Daryl is going to say, because all we hear him say is, he went out looking for something, he didn't find it, he ended up in France, and he couldn't get back. But I suspect this is where he's going to say, but that was a good thing, and I've learnt from these people, and I've made friends, and whatever. And to round off that part of this arc, that he came here and he didn't want to be here, and he still wants to go home, but he realizes that he has gained something from his time here. And I think that's what he's going to tell Isabel, and that will give her peace,
Yeah.
because that's what you.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to back when they first announced the Carol and Daryl spinoff, they had described it as a roadshow
Yes,
and that they planned on, it was basically going to they were gonna be the only 2 consistent characters.
yes,
Um, and they would have, new characters every week or every arc or every
yes.
season or whatever. So I think that that's what they're currently doing.
I agree totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's, yeah, we're getting back to that it is going to be a roadshow, and we are going to see small arcs where other people, they come across other people, they help them, or they get involved with them, whatever, and then they move on to someplace else. And that, I suspect that is what it's going to be, because that was the show they always intended, and it was just delayed for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah, it's we're I don't think we're gonna see any of these French people after season 2.
No, I agree.
Um, they're shooting season 3 in Spain.
Yes,
So that'll be interesting. We'll get a whole new cast of characters.
yeah,
So yeah, it'll be interesting. So I don't know if I mean it almost kind of sounds like something she might be saying to Daryl, "Tell me a story," as she's dying or something.
yes, that's what I think. That she's been bitten, or something that allows, because obviously if somebody just gets shot or dies, it's something that allows a time for her to say her goodbyes, and I think that's
Yeah.
part of it, is having Daryl tell her his story, and that it has a happy ending.
Yeah, it clearly sounds like this is somebody needing comfort.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody needing comfort. And I don't think, oh, just again, this is speculation. I don't think Laurent is going to die, but I suspect he'll end up with, like, perhaps with Sylvie or somebody, and have a life. But I think that we will see the end of Isabel, and probably the other, um, all the antagonists, I should
Yeah.
say. And we'll
I
have
just
different antagonists.
I do hope that if Isabel dies, I do hope that Laurent and Sylvie are reunited because
Yes,
they're each other's only family left.
yes, yeah.
I
And
mean,
they're,
they're
she's like a big sister to him, and it's, yeah, I would like to
yeah,
see her and Emil can raise
yeah,
him.
yeah, exactly. I love Sylvie. I like her a lot.
Yeah, I love
I always
Sylvie.
say, like, I always say Sylvie and Falou are the only people I trust on the show.
Yeah, we don't trust anybody else.
Nope. Strictly Sylvie and Falou.
Yeah,
So, we've got this summer, then we've got a shot of Daryl and Laurent,
yeah.
um, whose hair looks like it might be a little bit longer.
Yes, it does. I was thinking that, but he doesn't look ridiculously taller like RJ and the ones who live like, oh, he's grown a
He
foot.
fortunately, there's no, season 4 Carl issue happening here.
No.
I still remember the memes from then, with him telling the other kids, like, about story time, that's kid stuff, and he's got, like, somebody put a beard in it because he had grown so much.
Yeah, it's like, how old do you mean? Let's not get started on the timeline of the kids aging again. Oh no.
Yeah. Um,
Aha.
so we've got a shot of Carol looking at a destroyed ship here.
Yeah.
Um
She now I we have we've seen photographs from filming. So
Mhm.
we have things, and it's not spoilers in the sense of a script or whatever, and know exactly what happened. But from filming, there was a light aircraft on set, and I think we see a light aircraft in the trailer. Um, so we think she flies over. She doesn't take a boat, but perhaps this is her looking of where she thinks Daryl came to. Perhaps this
Mm,
is the port where she thinks Daryl came, and she's looking at the boats and seeing they're all wrecked and thinking, oh, you know, she's got little hope that he survived getting across the ocean.
gotcha. Which, I mean, I'm not crazy about because, I think we kinda just saw that exact thing on The Ones Who Live.
Yes, exactly.
Like, you know, like,
Yeah.
don't repeat stuff on your shows. Like
No.
that. Um, but, we then get a beautiful shot of her, like, looking a little worried
Yeah.
as she's looking at this boat, like, "Hmm, what's going on here?"
Yeah.
Their journey continues. Can we tell who this is in the,
It it is Carol,
y
definitely, and we I believe on the left that is Ash, the chap.
yes.
But the other two I've no idea. But I think there was a woman that was cast, wasn't there? Oh, my light just gone off.
Was
Sorry.
there? Okay.
Um, yeah, that she but I don't know if she's, oh gosh, I can't remember her name. Um, an older woman was cast, and it said, but I think she is only in it for a one episode or something. So it looks like Carol has got herself a little group anyway, and it looks like they are in the mountains, um,
Yeah.
the Alps. I'm assuming. My geography knowledge is slim to none, despite the fact I am in that very country. Well, not the country, but I'm in Europe.
Yeah.
I think it it looks like two other people. I think. Um,
Yeah, it does.
so I wonder if Ash is flying the plane, if there are two other people that go with them for whatever reason. Um, maybe they're he was maybe going to go there anyway. I'm assuming Carol finds him as somebody who has been doing flights across the Atlantic for some reason or other, and so she wants him to take her on one. And so these other two people might be involved in that. Who knows? Um,
Yeah.
but let's just say this: I don't hold much hope they'll live. Because sorry, I just knocked my phone over. Yeah, because if we look at the ones who live
Yes.
as a
Yeah.
comparison, yeah,
Oh,
then
so
yeah,
sad.
yeah,
So sad. One of the greatest characters ever introduced in the Walking Dead universe, and just
yeah,
one episode in, gets hit with the Rick Grimes death curse.
exactly.
But
Can you
we
just give
also,
me can you just give me 10 seconds? I need to plug my laptop in. Hang
oh
on.
yeah. Um, so one thing that I'm kind of excited about is we know from some filming photos that were going around that Carol also meets up with Baloo
Yes.
and Sonia, right?
Yep, that's right. There was a photograph. I think it was released by was it one of the art director cinematographers, I should say. Um,
Okay.
I think it was someone posted on Instagram anyway, so it was not by dodgy means. It was one of the crew members. And it was Carol sitting at a table with Sonia and Falou in that place where their their base, I suppose it is, where Daryl had met the Anton the Pigeon Man. Uh,
Yeah.
another sad day.
Yeah.
So obviously she meets up with them, and so that's interesting because excuse me, we have Falou in the back of that truck
Mhm.
and with Daryl, and we know that Carol meets Falou, and in that scene, it didn't look like Daryl was there. It was just Carol with Falou and Sonia. So
Yeah.
it's interesting if they're going to cross paths but not meet each other, if you know what I mean. Like they know perhaps something like Daryl's taken again, or something, so that they're in each other's vicinity, but they're not actually interacting. They haven't actually met each other, which would be very, prolonging the misery kind of thing that
Yeah.
so near and yet so far.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Baloo might be the link that brings them
Yeah,
together. So we got Carol um shooting at unfortunately like I said, the program that I use to grab the screenshots from videos just does not produce the greatest quality, unfortunately. But this was a gnarly looking walker that she's shooting.
yeah. He's a I. There's something I've always talked about actually and thought about is if walkers collapse or they've nothing around them to propel them to walk on, grass and stuff would grow over them, and you would
Yeah.
have to watch where you walked because there could be a walker under your feet, and this one
Yeah.
appears to be covered in grass or moss or something.
Yeah, something like that for sure.
Yeah. um
Um
but it
and
shows that Carol has the crossbow in France, is what I was going to say. It shows she's brought
yes.
it with her. Yeah.
Yes, good
Uh,
point.
n- Now, this is the voiceover says is Carol's voice says, she's looking for Daryl Dixon. Where's Daryl Dixon? And this is the phrase I wanted to refer to, that I mentioned earlier, where she says, "He's the only family I have left."
Yeah.
That that is the most intriguing part of all of this stuff we've had, all of the promo stuff. What does that
Mhm.
mean? Why does she think she doesn't have any family left? You know, is it because we don't know the timeline. We don't know if she crosses paths with Rick and Michonne returning. I assume she does, but then at the same time, someone on Twitter brought up a great point, which was if Carol and Rick cross paths, Rick's fixed the CRM and they've got all these supplies and helicopters and goodness knows what else. They could take her to find Daryl. They could provide everything she needs. So the fact she's just hoofing it on her own suggests that she doesn't have the CRM behind her. That hasn't happened yet. Um, so if has she left? I want to believe that she's left after Rick's arrived because she knows the children are safe. They've got their parents back, and she can leave, quite happily. But either way, why does she not think she has any family?
Yeah. That's concerning.
It is concerning, isn't it? I'm worried, and I fear that something else has happened that has made her feel um ostracized again. You know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
because she's not. It's not like she would say, "Oh, I've got no family," but just because um Daryl's not there, you know, she
Yeah.
she has the kids, she has Aaron, she has Jerry, all these people. There's Lydia. eh, they're not all dead. I hope.
Right, right. And I honestly feel like I don't know, I honestly feel like it makes more sense for the timeline if Rick and Michonne hadn't come back yet.
Yeah,
Um, but I just yeah, I don't know. I mean, but obviously, like, I don't know. I worry about did something happen to everybody or,
yeah,
um, you know, what, yeah, I don't know. I'm
and I mean, obviously we have the radio call with Daryl as well to connect
yeah.
into that, where she says something is back, someone is back, but she's also really upset and worried about something.
Mhm.
And Melissa, in the little interview she did, the behind the scenes thing, she said Carol has a secret that she's keeping.
Yeah.
Um, so all those things together don't sound good. Let's put
No,
it
it
that way.
doesn't. It doesn't. I'm definitely worried.
Yeah, we don't want
Um,
any more heartbreak for Carol, please.
no, definitely not. Um, so we see her looking at at a map here of Europe.
Yeah,
Um, and we hear her in the voiceover putting it together that she's got to go to France.
yeah,
Um, and we've got a shot here of some chaos at the nest.
yeah.
Um, do we think that this is uh do we think they're being Janae's army is attacking?
Could be, or it could be a Walker breach, like Janae again, uh, through her fault, but it's not Janae's people. It could be a Walker. It's hard to tell, but anyway, they're running and screaming, so it's
Yeah.
it's not good. Whatever. Um, it's and I don't know whether in the timeline it's hard to guess in the timeline when this is from. If it's from the first episode or fifth, we don't know. But I'm assuming, excuse me, I'm assuming it's quite early on. But Falu's
Yeah.
there. Falu's everywhere.
He is everywhere because he's I mean, he was not at the nest in season 1.
No, he was not.
Um yeah, they said goodbye and parted ways
Yeah.
and he's but we saw him in the other teaser at, wherever Daryl and that
Yes.
group are and here he's at the nest.
And he's also at the base with Carol at some point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just, yeah, Falu's gonna bring this all together.
yeah,
Um, we see Daryl again, shooting, we already
yeah.
saw that. Um, these,
Naked
these
walkers.
walkers,
I wonder if that's like at the beach and they're naked because they died in the water. Maybe. I don't know.
um
They don't.
yeah, I'm not sure where these are. Like,
No.
I thought that I at first thought that, maybe these are part of the
Oh, test subjects that Janine and Cole possibly.
yeah. Yeah, that's possible. I thought maybe they were part of that I thought at first that maybe they were, like, part of those walkers that were approaching the car that we saw Carol in that
Oh yeah.
earlier teaser, which we did not get in this teaser.
No.
Um, but, yeah, there was a teaser that came out quite a while ago where we see Carol in a car
Yes.
surrounded by
Ah,
walkers.
yeah. I don't think that's the same one just because of the angle they're
Yeah,
looking at the we're looking
I
at here.
agree.
That looks like somebody on the ground,
Yeah,
and walkers are coming at them.
yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Um,
Oh.
this looks like Lisang at the
It's
nest.
Lisang.
Not sure what he's doing here because I really gotta get a better program, guys. If
Hmm.
anybody knows of a better program um, that gives better quality images from Um,
Screen caps, yeah,
yeah, from, uh, converting MP4 to image
yeah.
sequence, please let me know.
I,
Um,
I'm just looking at here. Lisang has a spear, and he's spearing a walker. So
okay, gotcha,
I do think perhaps there are walkers. It is a walker attack on the nest.
gotcha. So yeah, okay, so that's probably what's going on in
Yeah,
that chaotic scene.
yeah, I think
Um,
so.
and then we get a nice picture of Carol on the bike.
Yay, Carol on the bike.
Yep.
We love
Love to
Carol on
see
the
it.
bike. Yeah.
Love to see it.
Even
Um,
if it's a stunt double, or B, here she is riding the bike, but the bike is on a trolley that's being pulled along by a car. They did it with Daryl for scenes as well, so it's not any slight on her to see they're doing that. But
yeah.
I'm sorry, I've lost my light.
Oh,
But
that's okay.
yeah, I think that Melissa spoke about how, oh, there we go, how Melissa spoke about how difficult it is to ride that bike, how tall it is for her legs, and so she's sitting on it, but whether the bike is on the road is another another matter altogether.
Yeah, apparently it was too big for her.
Yeah, which I
I
understand. I've got little legs.
Yeah, yeah, I feel the pain. I mean, I'm 5'4" and actually have long legs for my height, and I'm it's still a daily struggle.
When I drive, the steering wheel is like this close to me. My legs are so short.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
funny.
I feel her pain, but it's good to see her on the bike, face her face rather than the back of her, which we know is a stunt double.
Yeah.
It's always good to see. It's
Yeah.
always good to see her face. Full stop.
I know. I'm super happy. But yeah, really worried about that line
Yeah,
about not having any family left. That's
yeah, it is concerning me. I'm trying to think of different ways that could be true to her. And as you say, does it mean everybody's dead? Which seems unlikely. Um, does it mean she's been ostracized for something? Is it something internally for her that she feels she's no, that part of that I was thinking, if Rick and Michonne came back and the kids were returned to him before she leaves, I could see that leaving her with a sense of a lack of purpose, because
yeah.
she was staying alive, staying where she was, doing what she did, looking after the kids, the Grimes children. And if she doesn't have that purpose now, and Daryl's not there, what is her purpose? So
What would be really interesting is if Rick and Michonne are back and the family's reunited, maybe Ezekiel is with somebody.
yes, I thought that as well. Yes,
Um, and I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna get a little shippy here, okay? But um, maybe she's maybe that's causing her to, because I feel like she kind of looks at, not to make her sound bad or anything, but I feel like she kind of looks at Ezekiel like they obviously still have a close relationship.
yeah,
I feel like she might kind of look at him as somebody who's always going to be there for her.
yeah, yeah.
And if he's maybe with somebody else, maybe she doesn't feel as close with him anymore.
And
And
it's maybe similar to what happened with their marriage, that
mhm,
Daryl was always there, and she couldn't be with Ezekiel, because she knew she would always pick Daryl over um, Ezekiel,
yeah,
and there would be a sense that she thought that at that time that Ezekiel would always pick her, and then if he finds someone else, he's not going to. He's not going to be
mhm,
his priority, and it may not be so much about Ezekiel, but about the fact that you're no one's person.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
yeah, you're no one's first choice anymore.
Yeah. Whereas I think she probably saw Ezekiel as looking at her like that,
Yeah, yeah,
and she
yeah,
probably clung to that a little bit, even if she didn't want to get back with him romantically.
yeah, yeah.
that probably provided some comfort for her.
Yeah.
And
It and especially if Rick and Michonne were back as a couple,
mhm,
that's makes it very much more obvious as well. They have each other. And if
yeah,
Ezekiel has somebody else, and she, even if he didn't have somebody else, it would not that, as you say, she wouldn't want to get back together with him, but just to have someone that you know is looking out for you, and
mhm,
if she doesn't have that someone, we know
yeah,
who that someone is, and he's not there, you know. Um,
yeah. I think that could kind of make her force her to reevaluate her relationship with Daryl a little more heavily, you
yes,
know?
yes. Whether you see it as romantic or not, um, they are each other's person, and
Yeah,
that's canon.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Melissa McBride has said as much in an interview, you know?
Yes, yes.
Um,
There, as you say, she said she sees him as a potential life partner. So
yeah, yeah, exactly. So that would be interesting from a shipping standpoint.
yeah,
Um, and like I said, that's a topic for a whole nother episode because there are so many things I wanna say about it. But the fact of the matter is, like, you don't have to ship Carol and Daryl romantically, but it's it it should be something you're always analyzing because we've seen that they can't be like you said, they're each other's person. They can't anybody else that's in the picture is gonna get in between that,
yes,
and it doesn't work.
no, exactly. That's
So
that's that's to me. I mean, I shipped them before that point, but now the point is that no other relationship is going to work because they will always pick someone else over their partner.
yeah,
They will always pick each other. So you can't have another romantic relationship if they are not your priority. Um, yeah,
yeah. So it's, I I used to say I don't wanna get too overly shippy on this podcast, but I mean, it's kinda hard not to just because you're talking about 2 characters that just have a very that kind of relationship that it's really hard not to I mean, they're not gonna be with anybody else. They're just not.
no,
It's either gonna be they're together or they're not gonna be with anybody. I mean, that's just how
and
it's gonna be.
as you pointed out, this isn't that I'm a Carl shipper from day one. This is the way it's in a sense you're an unbiased observer because you
Yeah,
came to it because of there's no other choice to you.
right.
You're looking at it and go, well, that's the only thing that makes sense. And
Exactly.
I'm always happy to explain to people why. If people say, "Oh, but they've been made out to be brother or sister or mother son," which uh,
Oh
offensive.
god.
Um, but I'm always happy to say, no, they haven't. They never have on the show, and here's the evidence why. There are multiple scenes which have indicated them as a potential romantic relationship. Not saying they do, but that is the slot they fit into for each other. And if you don't see it, if you don't want it to happen, fine. That's absolutely everybody should want whatever they want. But I think it's not true to say it's not been presented. It definitely has. It is a part of the story. Is that they have that potential?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and my first choice was always Daryl being asexual.
Yeah.
I always kinda wanted that. Full disclosure, I shipped Carol and Carzekiel at the same time.
Fine.
As we lose half of our audience. No. No,
I mean,
I'm
I think it's there's nothing wrong in shipping something else.
yeah.
I would question if you would ship Daryl and Beth, but
Oh god, no. No. No, let's not even entertain that.
but I'm not against people who ship other things. As long as you're not saying Daryl and Carol is mother son or something like that and dismissing it.
Yeah.
That to me that's an issue. But ship who
Yeah.
you like. Everybody should ship who you like. And
I mean, there are plenty of valid reasons that people shipped Daryl and Connie. There are plenty of valid
yes,
reasons that people
yes,
ship Daryl and Isabel because the show made them
hmm
shippable.
absolutely, yeah. There were hints,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, they're valid ships. The show
They
ma
are
it's not
valid
like
ships.
shipping Daryl and Rosita, which
No.
is just that's just you can ship anybody, but that's
Yes.
a total headcanon out of that came out of nowhere. There was
Yeah.
the show never tried to make them shippy.
No.
The show made Daryl and Connie shippy and Daryl and Isabel shippy.
Yes.
So, there are plenty of reasons for people valid reasons for people to ship them.
Yes.
But just if you're one of these people who just says absolutely not to Carol and Daryl, I want you to evaluate why that is because there's a lot of ageism, and
Oh,
I'm not saying that that's why you were adamantly opposed to it because there are valid reasons as well for not wanting them to be romantic. Um, but just just take a good look at your reasons for being against it and make sure that it's not some subconscious ageism that's going
and
on.
yeah. And, a lot of people say, "Oh, no, but they should be platonic." Nothing wrong in saying that, but they say, "Oh, they should be platonic." But, there's not we don't have men and women being friends. Well, in this show, we have lots of men and women being
Yeah,
friends. Carol is friends with Rick, and she was friends with Glenn, and she's friends with Morgan and Jerry,
yeah,
and Darrow is friends with Rosita and Michonne and Maggie. There are lots of platonic friendship between different genders. Um, so it doesn't have to be. If you want it to be, that's fine. That's absolutely, everybody can choose to wish for what they want. But you can't say that there is no platonic representation in the show, because, well, in the main show, I should say, because
yeah,
there is. So there's no reason why this can't be a soulmate of the romantic kind, because we there is nothing that has happened in the show that says they can't be, and plenty
right.
that says they could.
And, I will say, just speaking as somebody who is is actually Demi, because there has been lots of talk about Daryl possibly being Demi.
Yeah.
Um, I'm more demi romantic than demisexual, but um, I I am somebody who totally understands the concept of Daryl and Carol being close friends for so long and not doing anything about it
Yes,
until
yeah,
years later.
absolutely. Yeah,
Um, as somebody who's demi, that speaks to me.
yeah,
I can that makes sense to me.
yes. There's reason. It's perfectly legitimate within the world and without of the world, in the sense of, realistically, two people can be friends for many, many years and then get
Mhm.
together. Famous example is Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood. There are a lot of people like that who are friends for many, many years, and then
Yeah.
something shifts. And there are also reasons outside of that world, in terms of writing, why they wouldn't have done that. Because, people always say, "Well, it would have happened by now." Um, why would it?
Yeah.
This is they if they believed it is a big thing, and I think they did feel that. I think it might have been Gail Ann Hurd or somebody said it would be the biggest spoiler, is Carol
Mhm.
and Daryl. There is a reason they would have kept it as a last their
Yeah.
last card that they kept close to their chest. And I do think that in season 10 that's where it was leading, because uh, a lot of people don't realize this. The spin-off was originally going to happen alongside the main show. The
Mhm.
spin-off would be Daryl and Cara on a roadshow, as you brought up, while the main show went on, and occasionally they would come back for big storylines for the main show. So they were supposed to leave in season 10. And I think the first half of season 10, we can see where that was building up, and the
Yeah.
two of them leaving together. But then things changed, COVID happened, everything else happened, the show got cancelled. So it completely changed, and they pulled back on it because they didn't have to do that. So I do think that's what it was about, is that, they were saving it till the end, until the last minute they had to do it, and the way things went, it never happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, I really do wanna do an episode basically on, the history of shipping Carol and Daryl
yeah,
and, versus other ships, and why we think those didn't happen, and
Yeah,
um, all that stuff, because I think that would be a really interesting episode. Um,
yeah,
and
and it
basically, like, and I would like to talk about why I've always loved why Carol and Daryl was always my favorite duo on the show, but I didn't necessarily ship them romantically until much, much later.
yeah.
Um,
And for people viewing, if they are not interested in hearing Daryl and Carol romantic talk, they know not to tune in to that one.
yes. Yes,
So,
exactly.
it won't
Exactly.
be a bait and switch.
What, one question. Did I
Yes,
see something about, so we talked about Carol meeting up with Baloo and Sonia. Did I see something
yes.
about Cadrone being in there too?
Yes, yes. Cadron is in there. He's sitting at the table. Yeah, I've just remembered. Yes,
Okay, yeah, I just thought about that too. Yeah.
yes.
So
Sorry.
that's really interesting. I'm excited to see what's in store for Cadrone in the second season.
He looked very, very beaten up, very severely, injured, obviously, which the last time we saw him, Jerry's men were dragging him away to punish him for not killing Daryl
Yeah.
and bringing back Laurent. Um, so I think, I don't know how he escaped. Perhaps he escaped in all the hoo-ha that they caused that allowed Daryl to escape with Isabel and Laurent. Um, but he seems to have come to the good side. So that'll be really interesting to see because we always felt he had that little thing because he said, the actor said, "I will be seen as a villain," which is a very carefully chosen word. So I
Yeah.
think we always had this suspicion that he had a good side, and I think seeing him on the side of Daryl and Carol will be awesome. Um, and I'm also super interested to see if Carol. I'm assuming she will, but if Carol interacts with Laurent because Laurent is supposedly has a sixth sense, and picks up vibes from people. So I'm so curious to see how he will see about Carol herself, but also on Carol and Daryl together. And there
Yeah.
was something else I've just realised I forgot to say. When we saw the convoy that Daryl attacks and the yellow jeep, the yellow green jeep, that shows up in shooting later with Daryl and Laurent in it.
Oh,
So I don't know what that means, whether Jeanette's dead. I'm assuming not because, if she's the big baddie, I'm pretty sure she will
yeah.
survive that. But that vehicle, Daryl seems to take that vehicle to use.
Wow.
Be interesting to see how that all unfolds.
So, we see the Alps, and we know that they're gonna be in Spain in season 3. I wonder if we'll also see the Pyrenees,
Yeah.
um, which is one of the things
Oh,
on
is
my
it?
bucket list,
Okay.
by the way, is to go hiking in the Pyrenees.
Oh, nice. There were like five, 4 or 5 public locations where they filmed in season 2, but where they were seen filming, and one of them was a beautiful, beautiful location in the mountains, which I'm assuming is what we saw there.
Yeah,
And but we were all confused, going, "They're going the wrong way. that's not that's not closer to America. Where are you going?"
right.
Um,
Right,
So
exactly.
I'm curious to see how they're going to be. I'm assuming they're heading home. That's the whole point of Daryl. What he wants to get home, and even with Carol there, I think they will still want to go home. Why they end up in Spain? Are they going to go travel down through Africa, and then who knows? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's all very interesting. What the I mean, obviously we haven't even seen the start of season 2, and we're talking about season 3. But
Oh, if they
that
end
is
up in
going to be
Africa, I need them to end up in Calabria, please, because
okay.
that's where my family is from,
Ah, okay, there we go.
and Calabria is not too far from Africa. Um,
There we are.
so it's at the, it's at the very, very tip of Italy.
Oh
So
well, there you go.
I I
Yeah,
would love to
they
see
may
that.
be. I don't know what they're going to do. Norman Reedus did mention a fourth season at one point, so if it goes on, who knows where they might end up. Um,
Yeah.
a whole season just set on the Atlantic, that would be fine.
Yes.
On the 3 weeks it takes them to cross the Atlantic.
Exactly. All right. Well, I don't did you have anything else to
No, I
add?
think I've addressed everything I wanted to say, so that's
All right. Well, I'm super excited because, we're only a couple months out
yeah.
and we'll hopefully put out another episode or two before then.
Yeah.
Um
Hopefully when we get the full trailer, the full proper trailer, we'll have some things to dissect from that. And
yes.
we're assuming from the Tribeca announcement that the season is going to start end of June, probably start of July. So
Yeah.
not long at all.
Yeah, not long at all. And we'll be recapping it every week plus our weekly Sunday night after show as well.
Yeah.
So, I'm super excited. I can't wait to just talk about Carol every single week. It's going to be awesome. It's just going to be a
Totally.
dream.
Yeah, it totally is.
Yeah, I mean, my getting to talk about my favorite fictional TV character of all time
Yeah.
is just I can't ask for more. I'm so
I
excited.
think I think that's what she is for me too. I think she's definitely my favorite character of all time, which is saying something. So.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be a fun time, and there will be tears when the season is over.
Yes, there will.
But, until then, I'm gonna go drink a hot toddy and get some sleep and take some cough medicine and
And
try to wish
I'll have
this,
a better setup for the next thing. This was a bit improvised today for reasons, but so I apologize for all my disgustingly hair dye hair dye stained dressing gown on the back there. But yes,
oh,
I
that's so funny.
just dyed my hair, so it's all pink.
That's so funny. Yeah, and hopefully I will not have the sunglasses on next time because I will not be struggling with this Novid, whatever it is. You
Infamous.
guys are lucky I showered, okay, and put on clean clothes the way I'm feeling right now. Um,
We do it all for
but,
you.
yeah, but we will, yep, exactly. But yeah, we will see you all real soon, and let us know in the comments what your expectations are for season 2, what your theories are, what you're excited to see. And maybe we'll share them on our next episode. So we'll see you guys very soon.
Bye
Bye
bye.
all.